Woke fam. How's everyone doing tonight? You guys didn't notice there, that's not Mel Gibson. This is Bill Barr. Tonight's episode, hold the line, Patriots, justice is coming. Good evening, everybody. It's Scott here from Woke Societies, the creator of the YouTube channel and podcast, here to bring you a sexy live stream tonight, as I always do on a Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all for coming in already. This is a show where you're going to get amazing music, red pill news, and just an all-around good time, and you're going to be guaranteed to laugh, so you can't ask for much more in today's world. You're going to laugh and be educated. Holy shit. And the chat is already blowing up. Thank you to my mods that are here already. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do a show tonight. Last night I had a sore throat, and I woke up with just completely congested. It's got to be allergy related, and everyone in this area in general seems to be getting the allergies today, and it's just odd. So just bear with me, guys. I'm gonna have to take some pauses at some point to blow my nose. I might sneeze a little bit. I did not want to cancel the show. I hate canceling these shows. I look forward to this show, especially the Tuesday night live stream. But this week we are doing a Thursday night live stream as well to see how this goes, to see how the numbers go, and we're gonna do that. All right. So I'm so happy that everyone's here already. A lot of people are here. We're almost at 1,000 viewers already, guys. It's only 2 minutes. It's only 2 minutes. Woke fam is strong. You guys are amazing, and I can't wait to dive into the stuff we're gonna be talking about today. We have a lot to talk about. A lot of news to pretty much to catch up on. We're going to be laughing at Joe Biden a lot, and we're going to be diving into the Q drops and diving into topics that I didn't even know about till last night, because some of these things that Q brought up were topics that I did not know anything about before I was woke. So we're all going to be catching up tonight. We're going to be all on the same page. You're going to get red pill news, and it's going to be a great time, as it always is. So we're just going to give everyone just a minute here to show up, gather around, and yeah, we'll get this show on the road. I can't wait. Let me know where you're all from. Let me know in the chat where you're all from. Don't let Como send you to a nursing home. Marion S. Yeah, if Como sends you to a nursing home, you're pretty much almost guaranteed to die, unfortunately. So we got a week full of shows, ladies and gentlemen. My show of Methods is tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern. My Tuesday show, and then Saturday we're gonna do. And I just want to give a shout out to the effing doctor. Everyone's probably noticing I'm not wearing a hat tonight. The allergies have got me all messed up. Wearing the hat was actually making me a little bit warmer, making me uncomfortable. But the effing doctor, who is my personal barber, is in the chat. This haircut is a week old. He wanted me to let you guys know, but he's out there tonight. And buddy, I'm going to need another haircut, but the hair still looks fire as it always is. So I got to get used to having my headphones without the hat on. All right. Thanks for everyone joining in tonight. Very, very good. So if you guys didn't know here, we're just going to just show you some articles here in the pre-show. A transsexual Satanist anarchist wins GOP nomination for sheriff in New Hampshire County. I am not making this up. This is very real. A self-described transsexual Satanist anarchist, that is a mouthful, has won the Republican nomination for the sheriff's job in Cheshire County, New Hampshire. A victory, she says, proves the system is utterly and hopelessly broken. Aria DeMezzo, who ran with the campaign slogan, F the police, and says she had expected to lose to a write-in candidate, won the nomination for Cheshire County Sheriff on Tuesday. The victory was first reported by inside sources. There she is. I'm running for sheriff because I oppose that very system, and the sheriff has the most hands-on ability in Cheshire County to oppose that system. The system that let you down by allowing me, the freaking transsexual Satanist anarchist, be your sheriff candidate is the same system I'm attacking. I'm sorry, and I know it hurts to hear, but that system is a lie. As much as I don't agree with her ideology, she does make a good point. A lot of people don't know who they're voting for, and they just go and vote. Know who you're voting for this year, especially on November 3rd. It's going to be Donald Trump. And thank God he's not a transsexual Satanist anarchist. That, ladies and gentlemen, will be on the other side. And in other news real quick, From Breitbart, Donald Trump says he wants Joe Rogan to moderate a 4-hour presidential debate. And this is real news. This, ladies and gentlemen, would be a debate of the century. It would be the debate of the century. Trump already said he wants in, but can you imagine Joe Biden doing a 4-hour interview? He would be asleep by hour 1. Imagine having Trump, Joe Rogan, and Joe Biden sitting across from a table together, completely no media bias, no audience, nothing, just a 4-hour recording of them going back and forth. It would be amazing, but we know Joe Biden's not going to do it, but it would be great. Who knows? Keep your fingers crossed. And just a funny thing here, a YouTuber who took a dump on Nancy Pelosi's driveway was actually arrested today because, again, he defecated on her driveway. And you know what? I'm totally cool with this. He's probably going to be remembered by his friends, whoever he was. Hats off to you. Maybe you're on the stream. Good for you, man. Good for you. And speaking of Nancy Pelosi, just to have this video play before we jump into the sponsor and get the show rolling. Did you guys see the slip up that this man Cramer? He's a big wig with stocks, Jim Cramer, and he had an interaction with Nancy Pelosi today. If you guys didn't see this, you're about to see it right now. Take a watch and just watch the cringe happen in real time.
I mean, what deal can we have, Crazy Nancy? I'm sorry, that was the president. I have such reverence for the office, I would never use that term. But it is hard,
you just did.
isn't it? Oh, come on.
But you just did.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. The reverence I have for the office is so great. I mean, what deal can we have, Crazy Nancy? I'm sorry, that was the president. I have such reverence for the office, I would never use that term. But it is hard,
just did.
isn't it? Oh, come on.
But you just did.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. The reverence I have for the office is so...
Oh, boy. Oh, God. I don't know what Jim Cramer falls as far as his politics, but that was hilarious. Look how upset Nancy got. Look how upset she got. And you know what? He's absolutely right. She is crazy, Nancy. And this is exactly why people are shitting on your driveway, Nancy. You are not working still. You have not been in Congress at all. What are you doing? I know what you're doing. You're getting your more spotties. Maybe you're getting set up by more spots somewhere else in California now and ruining other people's businesses and their lives. I don't know. But as far as everything goes here, we are looking great already. We're at 1,600 viewers. And guys, I love you so much. Love you so much. This promo I'm about to play for you, go check them out. They're pill.net. It's right below in the description. It is a censor-free platform where you're streaming live on there right now. You can go there and make a free account. But if you want to know a little bit more about it right now, take a watch. Here we go.
Please register at pill.net today. It's a free uncensored platform for sharing topics and truth. Please check out our new live streaming feature. It is dynamic, powerful, and comparable to Twitch and YouTube. Use the hot filter to check out what's hot right now on pill.net. Alternatively, you can use the images and videos filter to check out just straight media. At pill.net, you can use hashtags to categorize your topics, such as hashtag Kids Lives Matter, which is a movement anyone can support. Use our commenting system to let others know your thoughts and opinions on their posts. With our topic creation tool, you can dynamically create topics with as much text, media, or links that you want to include in your post. Or you can go live and stream directly to pill.net and tell the world exactly what they need to know. We are moving forward and have released our Pilled mobile application. It is available on iOS and Android. Just download it directly from our website. Join the fight for your freedom of speech today at pill.net.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, guys. Are you ready to get this show started? I'm ready to get this show started. And as I always like to do, again, go check out pill.net. They're in the description below. Go make a free account for a censor-free platform. It is YouTube, Twitter, Facebook combined into one beautiful thing. They are a different product, I can promise you that. They take all the good things and combine them into one. Go check them out. It's free. You don't even have to pay for this sponsor. Nothing you have to buy. It's free. You can't get much better than that. So, Where I want to start off is a man here that was screaming at Joe Biden about the documentary Cuties while he was in Tampa, walking to whatever dungeon he was giving his speech at today. I want you guys to watch this, and I'm going to see you on the other side of the intro. Take a watch. I guarantee you're going to get a laugh at this. And here we go.
Joe Biden! Go! What was your favorite scene in Cuties? The sniffing one? Look, they got the crime tape up! Because you sniff kids! You're gonna lose!
Trump 2020, baby.
Thanks for tuning in to the land of the real. But it's like the Twilight Zone, the plan is surreal. It'll blow your mind when the plan is revealed. Bring it all to light, all the plans they conceal. Grab your flashlight, it's time to go down the rabbit hole. It's dark and hell is hot, dealing with satanic souls. The tide is turning, patriots are now in control. Apply aggressive pressure right now until they fold. Stay woke, open up your eyes and keep them peeled. All they do is lie, realize not everything is real. Through Project Looking Glass, the future is revealed. Future proves past, but there won't be any deals. Woke society's spin, you know it's time to go. Grab your popcorn, sit back now, enjoy the show. Severe and non on the mic, so come on, enjoy the flow. The wave is rising and you know it's only gonna grow.
All right, guys, I'm ready to do this now. Give me a little time to breathe. Got almost 2,000 viewers in here already, and I think, let's see if I can turn the slow-mo on. And yeah, okay. I'll try to get that slow mode on for you, for the mods out there. I'll try to figure that out. I don't know how to do that while I'm in the studio, but it's okay. Thank you guys for joining tonight. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends and family. We are the news now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so where I want to start off is just the story. A lot of you probably already know it. It's something I just want to talk about real quick as far as the police. The people treating police officers now is probably the worst I think I've ever seen it since I have been alive. And you guys probably saw, like I said, this happened yesterday. This was in LA County. A gunman literally walked up to two cops that were watching a park actually. And as you can see, he just let off multiple shots inside the vehicle. He hit both of the deputies. He hit the one woman right through the jaw, and hit the other guy in the chest. And this person, as far as I know, has been found, and it was found by some AI technology, facial recognition technology. But it was just the balls on people to go up and do that. And the worst part about this story that I want to bring up right now is the inhumane. I didn't think that people could be so inhumane when it comes to death and just outright trying to kill people. This is what was reported after while the sheriffs were being brought to the hospital. To the protesters blocking the entrance and exit of the hospital emergency room, yelling, "We hope they die," referring to two LA sheriffs ambushed today in Compton. Do not block emergency entries and exits to the hospital. People's lives are at stake when ambulances can't get through. This is how much hate is being thrown at police officers that literally the woman that got shot through the face is a mother to a 6-year-old. These people have nothing to do with any of this racism that supposedly is going on. That anytime a cop shoots anybody at this point, especially if he's a black man, we're going to riot no matter what his criminal history was, no matter what the context is, no matter anything, we're going to riot. We're going to burn things down because, again, this was never about George Floyd. It maybe started out that way, but we are long. George Floyd feels like years ago at this point. Years ago. And there was another riot that started yesterday in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and there was video of the man that the police shot, wielding a knife, charging the officers, and they shot the man. And they killed him. They killed him. And there was more riots riots just started sprouting up in Lancaster because of the shooting. And look at this. No one talks about this. Ricardo Muniz, the man in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, who was shot and killed by a cop yesterday after charging him with a knife, was arrested just last year. for stabbing 4 people. His death sparked BLM Antifa rioting overnight. And if this had happened last year, nobody would even know who this person was, maybe except for local news. But now, because of the year we're in, it's an election year, everything going on with BLM and Antifa, which we're going to dive into heavily towards the middle of the episode of the stream tonight, this starts sparking more riots, and here we go again. Here we go. The police officers know this. He has a history of stabbing. He's charging an officer with a knife. They shoot him, and now we have riots. The message at this point, if it hasn't been lost already, it is completely gone. What are we rioting about? What are we trying to change? We're literally, cops now are more liable if they do take action towards real criminals. The cops are probably in more danger than anybody, and they're probably more likely to get prosecuted than the actual criminals themselves. This is how far it's gone. There is no support for the police at this point, and this is why even today, I think it was in Pennsylvania, there was a Democrat, some higher up police chief or something out in Pennsylvania that literally said he's hopping from the Dem Party to the GOP because the Democratic Party has left them. And how many times, I don't even know how many times, and you guys probably can tell me in the chat. Let me know in the chat how many people that you're interacting with that are Democrat that are voting for Trump. Let me know if that is happening and you're having these same conversations, because I get messages every single day that the Democratic Party, I'm not leaving them, they left me. And this is why we're going to see a landslide on November 3rd. Transitioning gears here to something else that I saw that was absolutely disgusting. And if you didn't hear about this already, you're going to hear it now. This is from the Washington Examiner. Governor Gavin Newsom signs controversial bill into law, reducing penalties for sexual relations with minors. This is a real article. This isn't satire. This is real life. California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a controversial new law regarding judges' discretion on whether or not to add individuals to the state's sex offender registry who have committed sodomy with minors. This is in question now, and it's been signed into law. This is a real thing. Newsom signed the bill passed by the Democratic-controlled state legislature into law without comment on Friday. He didn't comment. It's funny how these Democrats don't like to comment to the press after they take actions and speak, expanding the discretion granted to judges in statutory rape cases. This eliminates discrimination against LGBTQ youth in our criminal justice system. The bill's sponsor, San Francisco Democratic State Representative Scott Wiener, said about the legislation that he proposed. They used the justification that this previous law was only for, penal vaginal intercourse. It didn't cover anyone that was gay, LGBTQ, and they used this as an excuse to throw this in because of discrimination. But at the same time, you know what this does now? A 24-year-old can now have sex with a 14-year-old and it doesn't have to be reported. Can you imagine having a 14-year-old son, daughter, and an adult? An adult, 24-year-old, has sex with them and does not need to register as a sex offender and can literally have nothing happen to them. This is real, folks. This is real. Many have criticized the bill, arguing that that sex between a teenager and someone 10 years older is never consensual and should always warrant being placed on the sex offender registry. I cannot, in my mind, as a mother, understand how sex between a 24-year-old and a 14-year-old could ever be consensual, how it could ever not be a registrable offense. Democratic Assemblywoman Lorenza Gonzalez said when the bill was being debated in the legislature, we should never give up on the idea that children should be in no way subject to a predator. This is, along with everything else that we're seeing, and the reason why I played the Joe Biden video mentioning the Netflix documentary Cuties, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. We are seeing this chiseling away at foundations. Just give me a sec. Un momento. All right. How to clean myself out there. All right. We're seeing this chiseling away at foundations and just principles and values in our culture. And it's being wrapped up in LGBTQ, which I have no problem with anyone that has sexual orientation. It's the way it's being used to usher in laws like this to chisel away to normalize pedophilia. And that's what we're seeing. This is not a QAnon thing, as much as the mainstream media loves to blame us for that. This is just a QAnon thing. I would love to know when being against pedophiles turn into a QAnon thing and not just a normal human reaction to something that's disgusting and that any human that has children or anybody in general should be against. But it's been turned into a QAnon thing at this point. Absolutely disgusting. And if you don't think our major institutions that have a lot of power are trying to usher this new idea in about pedophilia, from Breitbart, UN chooses teen prostitution advocate for top human rights post. This came out 3 days ago. The UN has tapped a former abortionist and advocate for teen prostitution to its top post of expert. She's an expert. Just like when people say, it's science. Just listen to the science. Wear your mask, you sheep. This is a cult. The left, I consider the left, this ideology the left carries is a cult. And look, they name her an expert on health and human rights. These are the people, especially at the UN, that are calling for things like this. They want teen prostitution advocate, and she is an expert on health and human rights. It's absolutely disgusting. It's really disgusting, and it scares the hell out of me that this is trying to be pushed. And the only one that I see taking action right now against these people is Donald Trump taking down these pedophile rings all over the country. And I'm sure he has a lot to do with the ones that are happening across the world as well. I'm sure a lot of these things are all connected, but it's still really scary to see this happening. And it just makes me worried, having a kid of myself, why I'm doing this to get this out there, because we cannot let our kids' futures be attacked like this. We cannot live in a world like this. So from the New York Post, Netflix defends the cuties. And we talked about cuties already. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the videos that were posted last week about it, I just warn you, it's going to gross you out. But Netflix is defending it. And again, they double down and why their stock has completely tanked. And they're saying Cuties is a social commentary against the sexualization of young children. A Netflix spokesperson told the Post, it's an award-winning film and a powerful story about the pressure young girls face on social media and from society more generally growing up. And the Babylon Bee put a really funny post out. They put a post out saying excuse me, as far as puppies, to show that killing puppies is a really terrible thing, we're going to make a documentary about killing puppies. It's a play on words, it's a funny pun, but it's satire, but they're pointing out this is what Netflix is defending. Because this stuff happens, we're going to put girls in a situation that are very young, 11 and 12-year-old actors supposedly, and we're going to pretty much make a pedophile's dream video and put it on Netflix, and it's going to be streamed. That's where they're going with it. That's where they're going from it. And then today, on top of it, because the Netflix stock did tank, and we were a big part of that. We did the hashtag cancel Netflix. And today, more great exposure for Netflix. Netflix cheer star Jerry, sued for sex abuse of minors. This came out very first thing this morning. And 2 teens are taking cheer star Jerry Harris to court for grooming them into sending nude photos and demanding sexual favors. Isn't it funny? Because we know Netflix is an offshoot of Hollywood. Anybody can be connected to Netflix and Hollywood, how they have these grooming techniques, and they're all being accused of fondling children and doing sexual favors for children and all these other things. Really disgusting stuff. But here we are, and it's really scary, and we're going to call out every time. And I'm telling everybody right now, if you haven't canceled your Netflix subscription, I'm not a social justice warrior in any bit. I know people have lives. For me, that was the last straw for Netflix. They're gone. I canceled them. I'm encouraging anyone else to do so as well. Let's hop over to the chat real quick. We're at 2,500 viewers. That is fantastic. Thank you guys. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, let everyone know we are the news now. Now, to get on a lighter note today, Joe Biden spoke. We're going to dive into a lot of Joe Biden. We're going to laugh a lot right now. Joe Biden, I don't know where he was yesterday. He was in some cornfield, in some It's a rural area. I don't know where he was, but he was having issues with the bugs flying around him, and he was batting them away from his face for a lot of the time. And it reminded me of when Hillary Clinton had the fly land on her face. I'm just seeing a lot of commonalities between the Democrats and people who lose elections. Normally, you wouldn't want a fly to land on your face because look what happened to Hillary. But of course, these amazing meme makers and video makers are out there on Twitter making the videos even better. Again, this is not the real video, but you guys will see my point. This is absolutely hilarious. Brought to you by Dre Fanzer on Twitter.
The brunt falls disproportionately on communities of color, exacerbating the need for environmental justice. Sorry, as a bug. Speaking of the environment. These are interlocking crises of our time.
So this wasn't the real video, but the amount of times he was brushing away at his neck, swatting away, it could have been just as easily as bad as what you see in this video, but it's really funny. And there was another video here made by Matt Liberals. He's an hilarious follow on Twitter. There was another bug that landed on Joe Biden's shoulder, and listen to what he had to say.
Back with more
Oh, Joe, you smell so good. Oh, what is the intoxicating aroma? Ah, Joe, I can sniff you from here. Yes.
It's just really, really funny stuff. And it says, how do you like being sniffed from behind? Payback is a bitch. And it's so funny because there was a clip here that I don't have, but before this speech that Joe Biden was giving, he was filmed doing like a light sprint to the podium, and it just looks so bad. Like he just looks so lost, and he's out in this field in the middle of nowhere. He's swatting away flies. It just looks so ridiculous. And after that interview, the reporter goes up to him and they try asking questions of him. And one of the reporters says, Biden, how do you account for the dropping numbers and Latino support? And he says to the reporter, it needs to go up more, but it's still higher than his, talking about Trump. Now, I saw this yesterday. This was a Latino parade supporting Joe Biden, and it looks like it was a packed full festival here. Dear Lord. Dear Lord. What is that? This is why Trump's going to landslide. He's got the minorities almost locked up. It's an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke to see this. And Joe wanted to continue. He ended off his speech yesterday talking about climate change. And again, we know, you saw my episode on Saturday talking about the new climate change is arson. And it's just really bad seeing him try to talk about these subjects. And he was talking today about climate change, and we had no idea what he was saying. Here's just an example of it today. He is severely declining at this point. I don't even know if he's going to make it to the debates. Take a watch.
environmental justice, so we can turn the faucet on and drink water, breathe clean air. I'm sorry, I'm about to end, but no, live. We have to live. So.
Do you know who I feel bad for, ladies and gentlemen? I feel bad for the guys that have to do the sign language for this word vomit. This guy right here, I'd be paying this guy so much money to get my message across if I knew I couldn't speak right. And I trip up words all the time, but dear Lord, I'm a little bit better than Joe Biden would have to say. But the person said, what the F is Joe Biden trying to say here? He's trying to talk about something with the environment. I have no idea. It's really bad. But again, to what I was referring to as science being a cult or religion, which it truly is. Look at this on Twitter. The Scientific American, they have been around for 175 years, and they have never endorsed a presidential candidate. The 2020 election is literally a matter of life and death. We urge you to vote for health, science, and Joe Biden for president. And they go on to say, the evidence and the science show that Donald Trump has badly damaged the U.S. and its people. Because he rejects evidence and science, the more devastating example is willfully ignorant response to the COVID-19 pandemic, which seems to go up every day. I know the mainstream media and quote-unquote science cannot wait for this number to hit an even 200,000 so they can throw it in Trump's face by election night, which has cost more than 190,000 Americans their lives, which we know is absolutely BS. We saw the CDC reports talking about this. But you want to know what's funny when I think about science? I go to a real doctor here, Dr. Simeon Gold, saying, listen to science. Cloth masks do not catch small harmful particles in smoke, and smoke particles equals 0.04, 0.07 microns. WHO. This is the WHO. The coronavirus is 0.01 micron. Facts can be so inconvenient. And this is something that we've been talking about since, I think, probably back in March. But this is the science that is pushed, and if you question it, you will be ravaged. This same science that Joe Biden is going to back and say as soon as he wins, he is going to mandate masks for the entire country. And he's not going to win. He's going to get absolutely obliterated, but we're going to have to see how long that takes. But he went and talked about climate change. And the last thing on Joe Biden here for tonight, Joe Biden getting up on his private jet. Climate change today. Fire up the private jet, which burns how many gallons of fossil fuels? I have no idea. But here we are. Complete hypocrite. Complete laughs. It's a laughing. It's just, I don't even know what to say about him anymore. It's almost not even funny anymore to see this guy decline and to imagine him actually going up on stage and talking with Trump. But today, you guys probably saw it already on him speaking about him and Kamala Harris, but he was saying the Kamala Harris administration. Kamala Harris also said the same rhetoric, not the Joe Biden administration, the Kamala Harris administration. Very interesting, and we know Q has been talking about this, and a lot of us have been saying as well. They're going to do a whole switcheroo at the last moment. I can almost guarantee it, because there's no way this man is going to be up on stage with Trump. There's just no way that's going to happen. So meanwhile, Joe Biden is out campaigning at factories, fields, empty elementary school gyms. Our president, Donald Trump, is making historic peace deals out in the Middle East. And this is from Sarah Carter. The dawn of a new Middle East, UAE, Bahrain, Israel signed historic peace accords. These were called the Abraham Accords today. This was signed in. The agreement, dubbed the Abraham Accords, means the countries will establish corresponding embassies, exchange ambassadors, welcome tourists, and engage in bilateral trade relations. Trump says it's just the start to making peace across the entire region together. These agreements will serve as the foundation for a comprehensive peace across the entire region, something which nobody thought was possible, certainly not in this day and age, maybe in decades from now, but one founded on shared interests, mutual respect, and friendship, Trump said. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't remember what Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize for. He got it while there was wars going on, while ISIS was ravaging the Middle East. He got a Nobel Peace Prize, but remember, The Atlantic was calling for the cancellation of the Nobel Peace Prize because Trump has now been nominated twice for it. And the best part about this is they're not even done as far as the countries that want to get on board with this peace treaty and normalize relations. And as far as I know, the rumor mill is going up that Iran really wants a deal. How could they not? When you're watching the entire region that you're in, all these regions are getting together. They're normalizing relations. They're going to be opening up airports, travel, tourism, embassies. That's going to bring money into all these countries. And you know what Iran's doing? They're looking and they're like, wow, we should maybe get on top of this and get on this deal as well. We're sitting on the outside. And there's one corrupt, I don't know what you'd call it, government, whoever's there, whoever's in that ideology, that disgusting ideology that controls Iran still. Maybe it will be enough to force the people to push that government, to overthrow it, and to maybe get some kind of democracy. Who knows? Doesn't even have to be that. But to get Iran on the same page as this, that would be huge, and I can see it coming. And this is why Trump's going to get a Nobel Peace Prize. But we heard from Netanyahu today about how historic this is and how big this is. So let's just take a watch here and listen to what he had to say about this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, this day is a pivot of history. It heralds a new dawn of peace. For thousands of years, the Jewish people have prayed for peace. For decades, the Jewish state has prayed for peace. And this is why today we're filled with such profound gratitude. I am grateful to you, President Trump, for your decisive leadership. You have unequivocally stood by Israel's side. You have boldly confronted the tyrants of Tehran. you've proposed a realistic vision for peace between Israel and the Palestinians, and you have successfully brokered the historic peace that we are signing today, a peace that has broad support in Israel, in America, in the Middle East, indeed in the entire world.
Indeed, in the entire world. This president has been nothing but action. He kept his promises, and he is doing work. The man has not stopped working since he stepped foot in that office. And think about what he was up against, and still what he's up against, and what he's dealing with. Imagine if we had a media that actually reported fairly, and imagine the things that he could do. There is going to be justice served. It's coming. We're hearing rumblings of it every single day, and it seems to get more and more as the days go on. This is huge. Trump is bringing peace to the Middle East. All these problem countries that supposedly Biden, that was already there, that was there for 8 years, is now going to fix and somehow carry this on. He's going to know what to do. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is what an outsider to DC. Look at what an outsider to DC can accomplish when they're not part of the swamp. Look at the results. It is really amazing to see this, and we are blessed, ladies and gentlemen. We are blessed to be alive this time right now. This is, I think, the most important time in this country's history, and we're alive right now to be a part of it and to usher in the change that we want. Not what the deep state wants, not what DC wants, not what these swamp rats want, what we want. For the first time in who knows how long. And they're going to hear us on November 3rd, and it's going to be epic, and I can't wait to get into it. Let's get into the Q drop, shall we? So where I want to begin here is 4689. And this is going to be talking about, we're going to be getting into Antifa and the relations to a certain group out in the Middle East. I mentioned before, I don't want to drop the name too much in the stream for obvious reasons. Antifa being linked up with ISIS. That's the last time I'm going to say it, but now you know what I'm talking about. But the tactics that were being used, that Portland FBI said were fake news, and other media outlets are just refusing to talk about it. They're just blaming climate change. This YouTube video here was an emergency meeting of, I think, out in Oregon, of what they were witnessing and what they were seeing as far as climate change with what was going on with the forest fires. Take a watch and listen to this real quick.
Yeah, so if I could hopefully elaborate and give you guys some information, so it helps in helping you make your decision on that. So yeah, the reason we're asking for a curfew, and we would probably liken that to the time of the noise ordinance to be implemented around 10 p.m. overnight. There are lots of confirmed reports of looting, mostly in the outlying areas, Estacada, Colton, Moala, Sandy, mostly in the outlying areas. Lots of looting has been taking place, burglaries and whatnot. There's reports of, and this is not specific to an area, but all over the county, both outlying and even closer into town, of people of extremist groups staging gas cans for later destruction. And equally concerning is there are reports of people from other extremist groups. It's not confirmed Antifa, but suspected Antifa. This is more specific to the Estacada area. Reports and sightings of people armed with chainsaws. And the goal was to fall telephone poles in hopes of starting further fires.
And he goes on for another 10 minutes or so. You won't see this in the news. You won't see this on the mainstream media. You won't see this really anywhere. And this is why people come to channels like mine and my friends to get stuff like this, because nobody will talk about this stuff. And if you're not waking up, if you're still watching TV, you would still think it might be climate change that's starting these fires. It's insane what we're seeing, and it's right in our faces, but yet we're told what you see is not real. Look over here. Look over there. What you're seeing is not real. That's not really the problem. You're the problem. Climate change. All of us as humans are destroying this planet. We suck as a species. That's what's being peddled to us right now. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And Q says knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And when you go to 4690, here we are with a link here to two men here talking about these types running around 1333 of that video that I just played. And the anons here were able to identify a lot of these people. And as the drops come in, 4691, all these people right here, all arrested for arson. All of them. And now the images I'm going to show you here are some comparisons to what Antifa and this other group out in Syria, as far as their flag and what they represent. You want to look at this. Look at these flags. Look at these flags and who they are teamed up with. 4693, comparing the 1933 paramilitary wing of the Communist Party of Germany to the anti-fascist flag of here. And another one, 4694, talking about Q says, know your enemy. And look at behind them. We've seen this black flag. We saw it for years under Obama. Saw it for years. And I don't know how many years that this group completely overtook the Middle Eastern region. And they're holding the same flag in front of it. Know your enemy. That's what Q is talking about here. And here's another post, 4695, talking about strength and honor warrior. We stand at the ready always, in some patches of it says combined task force, special ops engineers, military badges here. That's what we're looking at. Letting us know that strength and honor warrior, have some faith. We stand at the ready always. That should calm everybody just a little bit, because when I was reading what I'm about to show you as far as the information and what this group is connected to, it's a little scary. They said we're always ready. We're always at the ready. But I want you guys to see this article from Newsweek talking about the connections here between Antifa and trained terrorists out in Syria. This article came out at the beginning of August of this year. An intelligence report from the Department of Homeland Security states that anti-fascist activists, Antifa, are being investigated as possible terrorists with affiliations to Syria, even though no self-identified members of the loosely affiliated Antifa protest movement have either been proven to commit any murders or carry out any terrorist attacks. The July 14th report, entitled "The Syrian Conflict and Its Nexus to the U.S.-Based Anti-Fascist Movement," states Antifa is being analyzed under the 2019 DHS Strategic Framework for Countering Terrorism and Targeted Violence. According to a copy of the document obtained by the progressive political magazine The Nation, it received a copy from someone who previously worked at DHS Intelligence. This is what the report said, people. The report details more than half a dozen people identified with various far-left causes who have personally visited Syria to fight alongside Kurdish factions. The factions include the YPG, the People's Defense Unit, the PKK, the Kurdistan Workers' Party, and the Peshmerga, military forces to provide security for Iraq's autonomous Kurdistan region. There appears to be a clear connection between Antifa ideology and Kurdish democratic federalism teachings and ideology, the report stated. There are clear connections between Antifa ideology and Kurdish democratic federalism teachings and ideology, the report stated. Q is saying, know your enemy. They have said multiple times, infiltration instead of invasion. Look what's happening out in the Western Hemisphere of the United States right now. It turned into riots in the cities. They moved out of the cities, and now they're burning. Remember, they put out a tweet last weekend saying they were going to take a break. They're going to take a break for whatever reason that weekend, and literally that same night and the next day, that's when the wildfires started to happen. And I put up on my Twitter today the map of these fires. They seem to stop at the Mexican border and the Canadian border. What a coincidence. I didn't know Mother Nature was just pissed off with America. Apparently, we're the only ones that are suffering from climate change. Amazing how that works. But you can see clear connections here of who these people are and where their ideology comes from and who they are aligned with. You would never think of the Taliban and ISIS coming over here in boats or flying over here with weapons, coming onto beaches, storming American beaches. And that's not how it's happening nowadays. This has been happening, and it's been allowed to happen for who knows how long. We know Antifa is deeply connected over to European countries. That's why when Trump said, I'm going to declare these people not as a domestic terrorist group, just a terrorist organization, which means they have ties to overseas. They have international ties. international funding, Soros, all the regular characters that we all are fond of, right? Q is saying know your enemy. And until they drop that, I never drew that connection. And there's probably so much more to dive into on that as well. Let me just hop over the chat real quick, guys. We got 3216. We broke our record from last week. I love you guys. Let's see if we can get to 3,500. Keep sharing, keep liking. Let's get the momentum going. You guys are fantastic. I love you all. And thank you again to my mods for supervising this chat. It looks like it's going crazy tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let's keep going here. Let's keep going. 4696. This is what I was just talking about. The United States of America will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. I just mentioned that. 4697. This is a list, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to pull it up. I don't even know how many links. This is probably almost 50 links. 50 links of everyone that has been arrested for arson in the last 4 or 5 days. And Q writes, combat tactics, Mr. Ryan, by turning into the path of the torpedo, the captain closed the distance before it could arm itself. And it's just crazy. Crazy to see that. But you know what? Portland FBI says all these examples here, it's all fake news. And guess what? All these examples are from local news stations that reported it themselves. But remember, we cannot let the national public know what's really going on out here. You do now. You do now. 4698. Q links a tweet here from Chuck Grassley. And we've seen the corn. We've seen the corn reference so many times. This ear of corn is developed and will soon be ready for harvest. And there is a meme here. I think Praying Medic has it. Yes. This is in regards to James Comey here. And he's saying the corn is almost ready to be harvested. And this is why we keep saying, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we keep saying we're hearing more rumblings that these indictments are coming any day, anytime soon. And everyone's like, oh, we've been talking about this for years. When is it going to happen? It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And that's what it is. Just one moment. Got to just clear myself out. 1 second. Thank you, guys. For anyone that's just joining, I've been suffering from allergies starting today, so just giving myself a break here just to so I don't sound like Squidward talking to the microphone here. All right, so let's keep going. 4699. This is Q talking about what happens when people in positions of power are sympathizers of the cause or part of the organization themselves. Talking about Antifa and why these people are allowed to keep doing what they're doing. The main meat of this post here is this right here. Does Antifa fear prosecution? Would they continue to operate if they did? Sympathizers, others, what happens when prosecutors, board of county commissioner members, volunteer firefighters, etc., are sympathetic to the cause? What happens if the organization Antifa itself is aware of this? Infiltration, not invasion. And when they're talking about this, they're talking about, not that one, this one right here. He's come up in previous shows. This prosecutor, he's a new DA in Portland, and he will not arrest anyone that's a low-level Portland protest arrest. He is literally letting them back out, and we saw an extreme example of what happens when this goes on. There was a man here that was arrested for arson in one day, booked. He was let out within an hour to 2 hours of being booked. That same day, this man went out and started 6 more brush fires, 6 more wildfires. And he was arrested that night. I don't have it on the up here. His picture, actually. I'll show you which one he is. If you guys wanted to verify me. This guy right here. This was his picture. He was let out the same day, and he caused 6 more wildfires on top of what he was already arrested for. This is what an infiltration looks like. And when Antifa knows they are not going to be prosecuted, the fear of consequences, when that goes away, this is where it gets dangerous. This is where it gets super dangerous. And talking about the next Q drop here, 4700, talking about what an insurgency means. Insurgency can be defined as the organized use of subversion and violence to seize, nullify, or challenge political control of a region. And there is a part here talking about how an insurgency right here, I'll read it. They do so through the use of force, including guerrilla warfare, terrorism, coercion, intimidation, which we're seeing right now, Propaganda, subversion, and political mobilization. Insurgents fight government forces to the extent needed to achieve their political aims. This is important to read. Their main effort is not to kill. Counterinsurgents would be police, anyone, a normal person stopping them would be considered a counterinsurgent, but rather to establish a competitive system of control over the population, making it impossible for the government to administer its territory and people. This is why Q said, what happens when your local government is nullified? They're letting these people do whatever they want. What happens when the police get neutered? They're attacked. They can't do their job. What happens when firefighters, EMTs are so scared to do their jobs, they crumble up and they fall under the pressure of this organization? They don't need to kill us, ladies and gentlemen. That is the point. A lot of people think these people are going to roll in with guns and just take us all out, and that's how they take over. That's not how this works. All they got to do is take over a territory, get the local municipalities in, and move up from there and take over territory. And once that is established, that is what an insurgency is called. And the people that are living under it are still there, and they have to deal with consequences going forward with that. But the best part about that drop is, Q says next, counterinsurgency may be defined as comprehensive civilian and military efforts taken to simultaneously defeat and contain insurgency and address its root causes. I'm so glad Q is talking about counterinsurgency, because this is where this is ultimately leading to. 4701 is just a link here to, actually, I did not even bring that up here. Didn't even bring it up because it was messing up my ads. It is a link to a picture of telephone poles being cut down, and we saw that in the YouTube video. We saw that in the YouTube video of reports of people walking around with chainsaws. Next drop, 4702 is an Anon says, Portland FBI says there is no credibility to any of these claims. I'm not going to pull this graphic up. It's a lot of things going on at the same time. Not going to dive into it, but ultimately all it means is there is clear evidence and clear proof that there are these groups, these Antifa groups, and the people that are associated with them are out there committing these crimes. And Portland FBI says there's no credibility in these claims, yet there is a list of at least 50 links just in one drop to local news sources talking about that this is exactly what's going on here. It's insane that this is being ignored, but hey, you know what it is. Gonna fast forward here a little bit. 4705, talking about what a patriot is. Noun, a person who loves, supports, and defends his or her country and its interests with devotion. A person who loves this country and, if necessary, will fight for it. A person who vigorously supports their country. And it goes into more description of what a patriot is. I consider myself a patriot. I consider all you out there a patriot as well. You're here. You love this country. We are to have an American flag now, to want to represent an American flag. You're almost shamed now for doing that. This is where the culture is going, but we're not going to let that happen. We will not let that happen. 4706, a picture here of Antifa burning an American flag. Insurgency can be defined as the organized use of subversion and violence to seize, nullify, or challenge political control of a region. Domestic terrorism. Not going to do this one for 4707. Why are they provided safe haven by D's? We know the answer to that already. 4708, this is the bombshell. Who is financing Follow the Pen? And this is from Catherine Heritage here. Catherine Heritage, this is insane. Portland protests breaking. According to this DHS government internal email obtained by CBS News, former acting Undersecretary for Intelligence and Analyst Brian Murphy, he wrote this on July 25th, ladies and gentlemen. We're at September 15th right now. July 25th, that the Portland violence was not opportunistic, but organized, citing anarchists or Antifa. We can't say any longer that this violent situation is opportunistic, meaning it's random. Kids are bored. They're burning stuff down. It is not that. Additionally, we have overwhelmingly intelligence regarding that the ideologies driving individuals toward violence, why the violence has continued. A core set of threat actors are organized and show up night after night and share common TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures. Threat actors who are motivated by anarchists or Antifa or a combination of both ideologies to carry out acts of violence against state, local, and federal authorities. And remember what I just brought up in here with this article being the connection. And as far as ideologies being connected around a certain core, remember this. Remember this. They knew back on July 25th, that this was organized and this was not opportunistic, and that there was overwhelmingly a common factor of ideology, a far left ideology being as closely associated with a certain group out in the Middle East as well, having their views be in alignment. This is scary stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine if Trump was not our president at this time. Do you see what we're up against? This is exactly why you'll see in a moment why Q said we need to hold the line. Wrapping up here, 4709. This gets super interesting. 4709, one name, Julian Assange. 4710, Seth Rich. As we scroll up here, 4711, John Brennan. 4712, Guccifer 2.0. We all know Julian Assange, Seth Rich, the information with them, John Brennan, the corrupt CIA director underneath Obama. And 4712, Guccifer 2.0. This is what I want to talk about tonight as we wrap up. I didn't know what Guccifer 2.0 was, and you may not either, but this goes back to 2016. So before we even get into that, this whole narrative of what happened to Seth Rich, who really was the leaker of the DNC emails, the WikiLeaks emails, all that stuff, the mainstream media wants you to think it's Russia. And they've been saying that for a long time. We know the truth, and that's why Q pointed out Julian Assange and Seth Rich just yesterday. This Guccifer 2.0, all the evidence suggests Guccifer 2.0 was linked to CIA, not Russia. NSA whistleblower says. So this Guccifer 2.0 were the ones that were being pushed to the public as the leak of the leak to Julian Assange. It says the internet is not capable of accommodating the download speeds necessary to validate the claims by Guccifer 2.0 that they hacked documents from across the Atlantic, according to a former technical director at the National Security Agency. So this whistleblower is attacking the mainstream narrative that it was Russia. It was that Russia was the ones that hacked these emails, the DNC, and gave this to Julian Assange, when in fact, it was Guccifer 2.0, which we are now finding out through this whistleblower is directly linked to the CIA. And it says right here, Guccifer 2.0, the cyber personality which claimed to have hacked documents belonging to members of the Democratic National Committee in 2016, is likely to be a front for the CIA, according to analysts conducted by members of Veteran Intelligence Professionals for Sanity. Now, this is exactly why Brennan's name was brought up in the Q drop. Bill Benny, a cryptographer, former technical director at the U.S. National Security Agency, blew the whistle on the agency's mass surveillance programs after serving with them for 30 years. Mr. Benny explains to Sputnik that despite Guccifer 2.0 claiming to have hacked documents which the cyber criminal later published, the download speeds necessary to have obtained the documents simply are not available across the World Wide Web. This dude called BS on it, and it further validates our views of really what happened to Seth Rich. And he was the one that leaked the DNC emails because he knew there was something wrong. He went against his own party and he was murdered for it. That is still yet to come out. But Q is pointing this up. And letting everyone know, keep an eye on it. This is Guccifer 2.0. Keep it in the back of your mind and all that good stuff. 4713. This is a direct link to Bill Benny talking about this tweet here, saying Mueller team deleting text messages. Again, this is relating to the phones that they wiped. This won't do. If government wants those messages, all they have to do is go to NSA Stellarwind database and pull them out, as all messages going over the cell network are captured and stored forever. And look what Q says in regards to this. Already done. Remember when Q says they have it all? They weren't joking. People were freaking out that the Mueller team investigation wiped out all these phones all at the same time. Super sketchy, red flags everywhere. But don't worry, Q team already has it. And this is why they've been saying they have it all. And to wrap up tonight, ladies and gentlemen, 4714, hold the line. Riders, justice is coming. Powerful two lines there, ladies and gentlemen. Really powerful two lines there. It's very simple. I know everyone's begging for indictments, but you can feel it in the air. It's going to happen, and we just have to be patient and let it happen. And until that happens, ladies and gentlemen, we have to keep holding the line. We have to keep pressing and doing what we're doing every single day. Whether it's a podcast, a YouTube channel, red pilling your friends, your small Twitter accounts, big Twitter accounts, it doesn't matter. Q gave us the ammo to get around this meme program that's going to somehow track and censor memes. Can you see how the battle plan is being presented to us and how we're slowly building up to that moment? Maybe when Trump says, now is the time, the storm has arrived, the infamous tweet that we're waiting for till supposedly shit hits the fan. Still waiting for it. Until then, we have to keep holding the line, have to keep getting this information out, have to keep countering these narratives, and we have to keep doing what we're doing and trying to free as many minds as possible before November 3rd, because November 3rd is everything. These Middle Eastern countries know this. Canada knows this. I see videos all the time saying Trump is the only man standing between us and complete takeover of socialism. It's that serious. We're going to be all right, though, guys. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it one way or the other. We're going to do it. You guys were fantastic. 3,400 viewers. That is a new record for this channel. Thank you guys so much. On your way out, please like, share, subscribe, comment on my channel here to let everyone know we are the news now. And if you guys want, please go to my Patreon. Go to the Patreon here and become a patron for, you can do $1 a month, $2 a month, $17 a month. You're going to get an extra live stream out of me and during the week. That's just privately for you guys. And I'm thinking about doing a Friday live stream also for my patrons on Monday and Friday, weekend and week start and weekend wrap up. That's what I'm thinking about. And of course, do not forget, when you go to my wokesize.com webpage, when you go to my store link here, it's going to bring you to my products page, and you're going to see some beautiful products. And when you do from new to old, you're going to see my newest products that I have, and it's going to display here. Hopefully, there it is. Where we go, one hooded t-shirts, v-necks, ladies shirts, hoodies. We got mugs, water bottles, defund the media. And of course, we got hats, defund the media, Pepe hats, my Woke Society's line, glassware. We got it all. It's really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. So guys, go check them out. When you buy from my store, you're supporting two local businesses here in New York. And we are both, all three of us are grateful for anything that you support. So go check it out on your way out the door. And of course, go check out pill.net and sign up for a free account down there. It's been really great. It's been really great. Guys, I made it. I'm dying right now. My throat's killing me. I gotta blow my nose like no one's business. You guys were fantastic. And thank you to the mods that were out here helping me as always. So I'm going to do another Thursday night show live stream for the first time. Usually I do a record episode. I'm going to see how the live stream goes as far as the numbers. And tomorrow, of course, I got the show with methods. All really, really good stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, you know where this goes. As I always like to end my show, thank you guys again. I love you. The woke fam is strong. So remember, stay safe, stay warm, and stay woke. Good night, everybody.